Have you ever felt like something was holding you back, preventing you from living up to your full potential? I know exactly how that feels. For years, I tried to add more to my life, thinking it would bring change. But the real transformation came when I discovered the secret. It's not about what you add, it's about what you let go. In this video, I'll show you the 6 things that, when released, free you to live a lighter, more authentic, and ultimately freer life. Ready for this journey? Let's get straight to the point. Habit 1. Assuming too much. For a long time, I was a master at creating catastrophic scenarios in my head. If someone didn't respond to my messages immediately, I'd imagine the worst. This generated unnecessary anxiety and, worst of all, created barriers in my relationships. But the big shift came when I learned something simple, yet powerful. Ask instead of assume. It seems obvious, but most of us prefer to suffer in silence rather than open and honest dialogue. When I started practicing this, I saw how my connections became lighter and more transparent. The truth is, by letting go of assumptions, you make room for more trust and clarity in your life. Habit 2. Avoiding conflicts and challenges. I was always the one who avoided confrontations. It seemed easier to ignore problems than face them. But here's what I discovered. Avoiding conflicts doesn't eliminate the problem. It only makes it grow silently. I spent years running from difficult situations, but everything changed when I started facing things head-on. It might be uncomfortable at first, but solving problems brings a sense of power that is liberating. Every time I faced a challenge, I became stronger. Today, I realize that obstacles are the best teachers, and avoiding them only keeps us from growing. Habit 3. Seeking external validation. This was one of the hardest for me. I always worried about what others thought of me, and I lived in search of approval. But you know what the problem is with that? You become a prisoner of others' opinions, and it drains your energy. I remember the day I decided to stop seeking external validation and focus on myself. It was like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. What I realized is that the only validation that matters is the one that comes from within. When you free yourself from the need to please everyone, you find an inner peace that no one can take from you. Habit 4. Excessive control. I used to think that if I could control every detail, everything in my life would be perfect. But the truth is, this obsession with control only made me more frustrated than ever. Because deep down, life is unpredictable, and trying to force things to happen my way only generated more stress. The moment I decided to let go of the reins and accept that I can't control everything was transformative. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, I started focusing on what I could actually influence. This brought a calm I had never experienced before. Accepting that not everything is within our control is the first step to living more lightly. Habit 5. Conforming to social expectations. For many years, I tried to follow what was expected of me. Living by society's rules seemed like the safest path, but also the most stifling. I felt like I was living a life that wasn't mine, just to please others. It wasn't until I stopped trying to fit in that I really started to find myself. And you know what happened? People began to respect me more for who I truly am, not for who they wanted me to be. Being authentic is the greatest act of courage we can have. The freedom that comes when you let go of others' expectations is indescribable. It's liberating to be yourself, with all your flaws and quirks. Habit 6. The blame game. I used to blame others for my problems. It was easy to point fingers and say it was my boss's fault, my family's fault, or the circumstances. But over time, I realized that this only kept me stuck in the same place. Taking responsibility for my life was one of the biggest steps I took toward freedom. When I stopped playing the blame game, I saw how much I was in control of my own destiny. We can't change what happens around us, but we can choose how we react, and that choice makes all the difference. True strength comes from taking responsibility for our actions and emotions, because that's where we start to shape the life we really want to live. Does this sound familiar? I know how it feels because I've been caught in these traps too. Spending life assuming the worst about people and situations, running from problems, seeking approval from others, trying to control everything. It seems like we're always on edge, without peace, without room to breathe. I also felt like if I wasn't in absolute control, things would fall apart. But let me tell you something, it's exhausting. And worst of all, it doesn't work. When I started letting go of these habits, everything changed. I learned that living with fewer assumptions brought clarity to my relationships, that facing problems head-on, no matter how hard, gave me strength. By stopping the search for external approval, I reconnected with myself in a way I never thought possible. I'm here to tell you that you can do the same. I've been through it, and if I can, you can too. When you free yourself from these constraints, your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Yes, it will be challenging at first, but the sense of lightness and personal power that follows is worth every effort. Now that you know the 6 elements holding you back, it's time to take action. It's not enough to just listen or understand. Real change happens when you put it into practice. I know this because I've also been in your place, stuck in limiting patterns. But it was when I decided to take the first step that everything began to change. Choose one of these habits and start working on it today. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to start. I can guarantee you the process of transformation only begins when you make that decision. And remember, each small step brings you closer to the life you truly deserve. If you're ready to unlock your true potential, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and discover more about how to achieve this freedom. I'm here to guide you on this journey just as I was guided on mine. Let's do this together. Change doesn't happen overnight, but with small steps and the right tools, you can indeed create the authentic and fulfilling life you've always wanted. I've been on this journey, and I know it can sometimes seem difficult, but believe me, it's possible. Each time you commit to taking a step forward, even if it's small, you're closer to living a life that truly reflects who you are. Think of someone starting to climb Pico da Neblina, the highest peak in Brazil. At first, the climb seems endless, but with each step you get closer to the top, gaining confidence and strength. This journey is yours, and I'm here to walk with you, supporting and sharing the tools that also transformed my life. Let's walk this journey together.